Welcome to In the Kitchen with Dinah. Today I'll show you how to make Toffee Almond Sandies.
Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Someone's in the kitchen, I know. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Gonna taste good, I know.
Toffee Almond Sandies over the years has become one of my favorite cookies to have at the holidays. Since Thanksgiving and Christmas are right around the corner, I thought I'd share them with you today. They would be fantastic for a cookie exchange or just to have around. They freeze great. They are absolutely delicious with a cup of coffee or tea, especially after a big meal if you just want something sweet. They are definitely a melt in your mouth, kind of shortbready, but more, I don't know what the texture is. They really melt in your mouth. They are so delicious. They have some interesting ingredients, so let's get started. So I have a whole cup of softened butter. And this whole batch makes almost 5 dozen. So if you want to cut it in half, all these ingredients are super easy to half. But I would say make the whole batch because by the time you give some away and eat some, you won't have any left. All right, so we have a cup of butter and a cup of oil. And I think the oil is what it really gives them their melt in your mouth texture. They are so good. If you like the almond sandies from the grocery store, this will knock it out of the park for you. You'll never go back to those. All right, and also I need 1 cup of sugar. So we got our 1 cup of white sugar. We're also adding 1 cup of powdered sugar. And you're gonna cream the sugar and the oil and the butter together. All right, then we're going to add 2 eggs and a teaspoon of almond extract. Now, I usually never measure my vanilla, but this is definitely something you will want to measure. I don't even measure it over because if you go overboard, the almond is very powerful and you'll ruin your whole cookie. So very gently, got 1 teaspoon of almond extract. And for good measure, I do put a splash of vanilla in just because it makes them taste so great. Then we're going to incorporate this. All right, now we're going to do our dry ingredients. We've got a teaspoon of soda, a teaspoon of cream of tartar, and that is a binder. It's going to help keep it all together. And a teaspoon of salt. And we're also going to go get 4½ cups of flour. All right, so now we're going to gently mix in the flour. I remember the first time I made these cookies, first of all, I was intrigued at the ingredients having oil and powdered sugar and white sugar and butter in them. But I always loved a flaky, delicious cookie, and then they have almonds and toffee in them, and I thought, how can you go wrong? So I made them, and I know my kids were super little because we lived at our very first little house. And I remember saving them till about 3:30, 4 o'clock when they'd I think they were maybe when they went down for their nap. And I'd make myself a cup of tea and have a cookie every day. It was my special treat. All right, so we've got that all mixed together. We're going to take 2 cups of almonds, and I'm using the sliced almonds. Oh, these smell so good. And then if you can find these, sometimes some stores only have them at Christmas time. I have found the best place to get them is at Walmart. But they are a little tricky to find, so hopefully you can find them in your neck of the woods. You just pour all those in. It smells so good. And if you might want to stir this in if you don't have a super heavy-duty mixer. I should have put these in my big mixer, but okay, that looks great. Scrape down your bowl, make sure you got it all mixed up. All right, so let me get my cookie sheets and my cookie scoop. I'll be right back and we'll put these on pans and get them in the oven. So I have my area all cleaned up. I've got my cookie scoop, which is super handy for these, and I've got my parchment lined cookie sheets ready to go. We're just gonna sit and scoop cookies until they're all on the pans. All right, so I've got all of my cookie dough balls on my cookie sheets. We're going to pop them in a 350-degree oven for 10 to 12 minutes. I'm going to put these in for a couple more minutes. I'm going to flip these trays. Oh, that looks so much better. I wish we had smell-o-vision because these smell so good. So the cookies are out of the oven. I did add some extra time to them because when they came out, I poked them a little and they were really jiggly. So I put them in for just a tiny minute more. What, like 3 minutes more? Yeah. So every oven is different. And even with the humidity or how dry it is outside or the climate you live in is going to change all your baking. So that's probably what you're going to see probably in the next videos is me as adjusting to humidity and dryness with the baking. It's just kind of trial and error. So you want to leave these cookies on the sheets until they're a little cool, and then you can just drag them off with the parchment paper. They're almost set. I'll show you how to do that if you haven't seen my other cookie video. That's why I use parchment all the time. I just drag it down to one end. Woo! Lost a cookie overboard. I really did. Well, it's just going to hang out there. And then they can cool on the cooling rack, and I'll go ahead and do that to the rest of them. But thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you give me a thumbs up in the video, hit subscribe, and turn on the bell for notifications. I'll have a lot more recipes coming yet this year. You guys have a great day and enjoy your family today. Sit. Okay, stay. Oh, wrong door. All right, well, we're finished shooting, so. Oh, they're so hot. You got hot toffee? Man, they melt in your mouth. I hope you guys try these. You're missing out. You want a bite?
I don't want the whole half. Just give me a little bit. Well, I like toffee.
All right. I need to put these away before I eat them all.
Gonna taste good, I know.